Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I actually have some firsthand knowledge of defensive biological warfare. When I was in the Army, I was stationed at Fort Detrick, home to the headquarters for USAMRIID. I worked on infectious diseases, sepsis, and developing defenses against pathogens. As soon as I was appointed to the House Select Committee on Chinese Communist Party, I began working on the Biosecure Act. The Biosecure Act aims to restrict U.S. federal agencies from working with biotechnology firms deemed to be a risk to national security, primarily those linked to the Chinese Communist Party, and protecting U.S. from inadvertently crippling our own biotech industry. As you know, the Chinese Communist Party is already advancing biotechnology in ways previously known only in fiction and movies. But for everyone who's joining us today, let me be clear, this threat is very real. It's made up of our worst nightmares. No longer is a genetically modified army or bioweapon capable of targeting specific populations some sort of far-off imaginary threat. It's here today. It's being developed at an alarmingly fast rate by our most advanced adversary. I have no problem stating that the Chinese Communist Party is morally depraved and actively committing abject crimes against humanity. Case in point. In June, the FBI arrested 2 nationals from China for conspiracy to smuggle an agro-terrorism weapon into the United States. And events like this raise concerning questions about how vulnerable the United States is to biological attack. If we lose our edge in this critical sector, the framework and guardrails will be written by somebody else, not us. Mr. McKnight, let me start by saying I look forward to working with this group of experts outside this hearing as well as inside this hearing, because we do need to advance not only biosecure but PAPA. But Mr. McKnight, can you tell us what new capabilities AI will give China in advancing its own biomedical research, and how grim does the world look in the event China beats us in biosecurity and AI sectors?
Well, thank you for your question, and I look forward to working with you outside of this hearing as well. I share the significant concerns that you raise over adversary nations, in particular the Chinese Communist Party. I think just at a start point, we should really truly remember biology is power, but really biology, like other technical domains before it, is geopolitical power, and nation states realize that. And we would be remiss to forget that's the context here. Our adversaries certainly do not. China has made it very clear in their own public documentation that they see the biological domain as the strategic commanding heights of power. That's direct from their literature. The Select Committee identified that, and I think it's very important we recognize the stakes of the game that they are playing. As it relates to the specific capabilities, I think this is why we need to recognize that we cannot only regulate and focus on our own industry, because there are things we do not control. And the bigger picture is how do we build a holistic defense strategy and a biosecurity strategy on a global scale for what we can predict will come in the next 1, 5, 10, and 50 years over the course of this biological engineering revolution.
There's a lot of threats out there. Dr. Panu, smallpox was declared eradicated decades ago, but advances in technology and biology are elevating the risk of bioterror threat again. Tools that accelerate gene design, modeling, and synthesis are widely available, and national security experts have warned us that they may recreate these bioweapons from yesteryear. I'm concerned that smallpox could easily be recreated by our enemies. From your perspective, how credible is the threat, and is the federal government prepared to address that threat?
Thank you for the question. I think the reemergence of smallpox would be a catastrophe, and it should be something that we work to prevent. I think threats like that are a national security issue, and there is a congressionally mandated office called the Office of Pandemic Preparedness and Response that Congress could consider further resourcing and making sure that that office has a seat on the National Security Council, given the severity of the threats that you described.
Thanks so very much. You know, my time's about expired, but I want to say I can use your help with the Biosecure Act and with the PAPA, Pandemic and All Hazards Preparedness, which has to be renewed. And so I thank you for your help in advance. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.